I was asked if a litigant used case law from different venues or jurisdictions, would the judge consider those rulings as persuasive law? Well, in the comments, there were a few people that said, wouldn't they have to because of something called the Full Faith and Credit Act. Now, my understanding of your question might be a little different. So let me explain to you what I think the Full Faith and Credit Act, what that really is about. My understanding of it is that it's one of reciprocity or the requirement that a jurisdiction or a state honors or respects something that has already been made, like rulings or judicial proceedings or legally valid acts, that those aren't going to be overturned just because somebody moved. So an example would be a Mississippi 15-year-old girl. She can get married as long as she has her parents' consent. Now, in Missouri, a person that's over 21 cannot marry someone that's under 18. Just can't happen. So let's say there's a Mississippi couple. The girl is 15 and she marries a man that's 23. So you've got a Mississippi couple, parents consent, 15-year-old and 23-year-old. A year later, they're going to move to Missouri because he has a great job opportunity there. So what the Full Faith and Credit Act does, it allows them to stay married. Because remember, if they were to move from Mississippi to Missouri, in Missouri, she at that time would be 16 and he'd be 24. There's no way that Missouri would allow them to get married. So it prevents Missouri overriding, voiding, or invalidating their marriage. So that's what the Full Faith and Credit Act does. It makes states respect what another state has already done. And in this case, it would be marry that couple. So another example would be, let's say you lived in New Mexico and you have a New Mexico driver's license and you're visiting your friends in Tennessee. You get pulled over by the Tennessee State Trooper. You have that New Mexico driver's license, which is not a Tennessee driver's license, but they accept it anyway, even if the requirements for getting a Tennessee license and a New Mexico license are totally different. It's that reciprocity thing. So that would be honored, that license would be honored, and that's what that's about. Now, when it gets back to case law does not have to be respected. I mean, think about real time what's going on now. You've got some states that are dealing with a very personal issue of abortion. And can you imagine if someone in Alabama cited case law from California about that issue? That Alabama judge doesn't really care what that California judge is going to say in their ruling. And vice versa. A California judge really isn't going to listen to something that an Alabama judge says regarding that matter, because they're two totally different states. So states can be different. The case laws, you don't have to follow those. But the Full Faith and Credit Act is about something different. It's about individuals and not having the state step in and overrule something that's already happened. I hope that explains it a little bit better. And if there are any lawyers out there, and I know there are some that are listening, feel free to step in. I always want to give good information to my fellow pro ses.